It's time again for another installment of the basics. And like I've done on previous episodes with the two other card games that I focus on, that being Magic and the Star Trek card game, I want to take you through deck construction basics for the X-Files CCG because there's a lot of question of all the types of cards and how many of them you should have in a deck. So I'm going to show you that today, alright? Let's get started. Now, as I've mentioned on previous episodes, the X-Files CCG is based on investigation. You and your opponent are both trying to figure out each other's X-File card, which is paramount to any deck. The first thing you want to do is choose your X-File and then build your deck around it using the various other card types. So I will take you through the card types and tell you how many of them you need, roughly, in your deck. Starting with agents. Agents are the primary focus of the game, aside from the X-File, because they will be doing the investigating. As I've said on previous episodes, you need agents with a varying set of attributes, and lots of them. So Vox Mulder, Dana Scully, Reggie Perdue, Agent Krychek, there are a lot of really good agents out there that will help you get through a lot of your investigations. You move on to sites. Now, realistically, you can have anywhere between 8 and 12 sites in the deck, depending on how hard you want your opponent's investigation to be. Because remember, you're both investigating sites to get close to the X-File, and you don't want to make it easy for anybody either. Bluffs are one of the lower level of cards in your deck. You're going to have 6 to 7 of them. You see these used a little bit more in the advanced game. They are good to have. They do introduce a set of variables into the game, almost obstacles, if you will, for your opponent. Witnesses, 3 to 4. You don't need too many witnesses. If you have too many witnesses in your deck, it will start bogging down the game because they're mainly used for evidence collection and for adding points and skills that they can pass along. Equipment is important, but you don't want to have too much of the wrong equipment. Like I've mentioned before, 3 to 4, even 5 equipment cards are more than enough, and you want to have specific equipment to help you with your investigations. I've mentioned before, the FBI vehicle card or the Mojo bag. They are very useful to have in a lot of decks, but if you're focused on combat and beating the crap out of your opponent, then you'd use equipment such as these, like knife, shotgun, AK-47, things like that. Adversaries, this is what's going to come out to help stop your opponent. You want to have somewhere between 8 and 10 of these, because you don't want your opponent getting through your lines of defense very quickly. So the more adversaries he's dealing with, the more he has to do, and he's going to be distracted while you're doing your investigation. Events are the backbone of your deck. This is what you're going to play on your own turn. And as I've said before, you can play 3 cards per turn in the X-Files CCG. You're going to be playing a lot of events to move the game along. You're looking around between 22 to 26 or even more events in your deck, depending on the type of deck that you're building. These are the core cards that you're going to have in there. So you're going to have to choose them wisely as well. And last but not least, the X-Files card. You only need one, and you have to be very wise about the X-File card that you choose, the class and all that, because this is what your opponent's going to be trying to figure out. So you have to think really hard before you choose the X-File for your deck. You want to be able to stimmy him and not figure it out too easily. So the happy medium in an X-Files CCG deck is about 70 to 80 cards. You can go a bit over if you need to. Again, you're going to want to have a lot of event cards and extra adversaries to deal with your opponent and move the game along. So 80 cards is reasonable for a deck in this game. I have seen some run on 60 or less, which is dumb because you need a minimum of 60 cards to have a decent deck. And I've seen some as high as 100. And those are decks that are heavy with events, equipment, and for some reason more sites than what you need. So keep that all in mind when you're building a deck for this game. Have a great day.